Today I am going to explain the chapter The 100 Dresses Part 1. This story is a sensitive account of how a poor young girl is judged by her classmates. Wanda Pentrowski is a young Polish girl who goes to school with other American children in an American town. These other children see Wanda as different in many ways. This is the story about. And before the actual story, some extra information about the Polish people living in America, the Polish American community. The first Polish immigrants arrived in America in 1608. The Polish people who settled in America 1608. But the largest wave of Polish immigration occurred in the early 20th century when more than 1 million Polish people migrated to the United States. The Polish state did not exist at that time, and the immigrants were identified according to their country of origin rather than to ethnicity, means a particular group of or particular race, human race. They were identified like Russian Poles, German Poles, or Austrian Poles, like this. One of the most notable Polish American communities is in Chicago and its suburban areas. So, Chicago is sometimes called the second largest Polish city in the world, next to the Warsaw, the capital of Poland. Polish Americans were sometimes discriminated against in the United States, as were the Irish, Italians, and Jews. According to the United States Census 2000, 667,000 Americans of age 5 years and older reported Polish as the language spoken at home, which is about 1.4% of the people who speak language other than English, or 0.25% of the US population. Now coming to the actual story. Straight away starting. Today, Monday, Wanda Pentrowski was not in her seat. But nobody, not even Peggy and Madeline, the girls who started all the fun, noticed her absence. Nobody noticed that she was absent. Usually, Wanda sat in the seat next to the last seat in the last row of room 13. She sat in the corner of the room where the rough boys, naughty boys, or the bully boys who did not make good marks, those boys sat in that corner. The corner of the room where there was most scuffing of feet, most roars and laughter when anything funny was said, and most mud and dirt on the floor. So, Wanda also used to sit around that corner. Wanda did not sit there because she was rough and noisy. On the contrary, on the opposite, she was very quiet and rarely said anything at all. And nobody had ever heard her laugh out loud. Sometimes she twisted her mouth into a crooked sort of smile, a kind of artificial smile, but that was all. Nobody knew exactly why Wanda sat in that seat, unless it was because she came all the way from Boggins Heights, the place where she lives, and her feet were usually caked, covered with mud. But no one really thought much about Wanda Pentrowski once she sat in the corner of the room. The time when they thought about Wanda was outside of the school hours. At noon time when they were coming back to school, or in the morning early before school began, when groups of 2 or 3 or even more would be talking and laughing on their way to the schoolyard. At that time they would think about Wanda. Then sometimes they waited for Wanda to have fun with her. The next day, Tuesday, Wanda was not in school either, and nobody noticed her absence again. But on Wednesday, Peggy and Maddie, who sat in the front rows with other children who got good marks and who did not track in a whole lot of mud, did notice that Venda was not there. Means the third day, Maggie and Paddy noticed that Venda is absent. Peggy was the most popular girl in school. She was pretty, she had many pretty clothes, and her hair was curly. Maddie was her closest friend. The reason Peggy and Maddie noticed Venda's absence was because Venda had made them late to school. Because they had waited and waited for Venda to have some fun with her, and she just did not come, and they also became late. They often waited for Venda Pentrosky to have fun with her. Venda Pentrosky, most of the children in room 13 didn't have names like that. They had names easy to say, like Thomas, Smith, or Alan. There was one boy named Bounce, Willie Bounce, and people thought that was funny, but not funny in the same way, not as funny as that of Pentrosky. Venda didn't have any friends. She came to school alone and went home alone. She always wore a faded blue dress that didn't hang right, that was not either fitting properly to her. It was clean, but it looked as though it had never been ironed properly. She didn't have many friends, but a lot of girls talked to her. Sometimes they surrounded her in the schoolyard as she stood watching the little girls playing hopscotch on the one hard school ground. Venda, Peggy would say in a most courteous manner, as though she was talking to Miss Mason, to the teacher. She would say, Venda, giving one of her friend a nudge, means just a gentle push. She would say, Venda, tell us, how many dresses did you say you had hanging up in your closet? 100, Venda would say. 100, exclaimed all the little girls incredulously, unbelievably. And the little ones would stop playing hopscotch and listen. Yes, 100, all lined up, said Venda. Then her thin little lips drew together in silence. What are they like? All silk, I bet, said Peggy. Yeah, all silk, all colors. Velvet too? Yeah, velvet too. 100 dresses. Venda would repeat stolidly, not showing any feeling. She would say, yeah, velvet too. All lined up in my closet. Then they would let her go. And then, before she would have gone very far, they couldn't help bursting into shrieks and peals of laughter. They would all laugh loudly. 100 dresses. Obviously, the only dress Venda had was the blue one she wore every day. So, why did she say she had 100? What a story. How many shoes did you say you had? 60 pairs, all lined up in my closet. Cries of exaggerated politeness greeted this. All alike? Oh no, every pair is different, all colors, all lined up. Peggy, who had thought up this game, and Maddie, her inseparable friend, means always together, were playing the last to leave, were always the last to leave Venda. Finally, Venda would move up the street, her eyes dull and her mouth closed, hitching her left shoulder every now and then in the funny way she had, finishing the walk to school alone. Peggy was not really cruel. She protected small children from bullies, and she cried for hours if she saw an animal mistreated. If anybody had said to her, don't you think that's a cruel way to treat Venda? She would have been very surprised. Cruel? Why did the girl say she had 100 dresses? Anybody could tell that that was a lie. Why did she want to lie? And she wasn't just an ordinary person. Else, why did she have a name like that? Anyway, they never made her cry. As for Maddie, this business of asking Venda every day how many dresses and how many hats and how many this and that, she had was bothering her. Now it was a little disturbing her doing this every day, because Maddie was poor herself. She usually wore somebody's hand-me-down clothes, means clothes given by somebody else. Thank goodness she didn't live up on Boggins Heights or have a funny name. Sometimes when Peggy was asking Venda those questions in that mocking, polite voice, mocking means making fun, but polite voice, Maddie felt embarrassed, ashamed, and studied the marbles in the palm of her hand. She had some marble in. She would busy herself in just playing with the marbles. Not that she felt sorry for Venda exactly. She would never have paid any attention to Venda if Peggy hadn't invented the dresses game, means every day asking about dresses. But suppose Peggy and all the others started in on her next. So she was worried that maybe someday they would started doing on her as well, because she also was a poor girl. She wasn't as poor as Venda perhaps, but she was poor. Of course, she would have more sense than to say she had 100 dresses. She would not tell a lie like this. Still, she would not like for them to begin on her. Of course, she would not like if they also start making fun of her. She wished Peggy would stop teasing Venda with her. She hoped, she wished that Peggy would not tease Venda Pentrosky. Okay, that is some part of it. I'll be covering it later on in the next video. Okay, that's all for today. Thank you. Bye bye.